Well, good morning, my friend, and welcome to the Pastor Podcast. It is Monday morning, and good to have you along with me today. I hope that you had a wonderful weekend. We had a great weekend here at Maranatha Baptist Church. Man, God bless us. Nearly, almost 400 on the property just in the morning service. It was exciting to see God do great things yesterday, and 20 people saved. It was 7 people baptized. What a great day. And I'm looking forward to this coming Sunday, the final week of a attendance push. This is going to be a little bit bigger week. We've got fried chicken after the services, and we're looking forward to a good week of souls saved, people baptized. Captain Sunday, that is the theme of this Sunday. Looking forward to what God's going to do. And if you're in our we'd love to have you come. 9:45 for church. You come, have a great time in church, and we'll see what God can do for us. I want to read to you this morning, if I can, about preceding the multitudes from Acts chapter 5 and verse 14. And the scripture says, "And believers were the more added to the Lord, multitudes, both of men and women." Now, when you look at what happened after Jesus ascended to heaven and in the early church, it's no wonder that this church saw immediate growth. Just a few hundred people were praying in the upper room before the day of Pentecost, which resulted in multitudes being saved and added to the church. Now, what type of people were these multitudes? Well, they consisted of men and women, the sick, the unclean, and whoever would come and listen to the gospel to respond. Before the multitude started coming, there were several things that God pointed out that led to these multitudes coming. I want to share these characteristics with you. First, there was much prayer made by the church. One of the great characteristics of the church was that they constantly prayed for God's help. God will not bless a church or an individual who spends little time in prayer. Where there is much prayer, there will be much power. The more you get God involved in all you do through prayer, the more you will find God will work. Sadly, God sits on the bench in the heart of most churches and believers because they're trying to do everything with their abilities instead of going to God in prayer to ask for his help. Now, you'll never see the multitudes come without much prayer. Second, the church had great power. It says about the church in Acts chapter 4 and verse 33, "And with great power gave the apostles witness." Now, you'll never be able to reach the heart of the multitudes without the power of God. You cannot have the power of God without much prayer. Yes, the church needs to be aggressive about reaching the lost, but their efforts will have little results without the power of God. It still takes the power of God for the great works of God to be done. You can try doing God's work in your own power and fail. Or you can take time in prayer, much prayer, to get God's power to rest upon you and see the multitudes come to Christ. Third, the church had great grace. Verse 33 continues, "And great grace was upon them all." Now, why did they need great grace? They needed it because of the persecution and opposition that was against them. You see, if you're not careful, you'll become a bitter, angry person because of the hurts that happen in your ministry or in your life. Now, you need God's grace for your spirit so that you can keep a good attitude despite the hurts that happen to you. You're going to be hurt and persecuted as you serve the Lord. And that's the reason you need God's grace upon you. People that you try to help are going to hurt you. People you try to help are going to attack you. People you try to help are going to turn on you. And you need God's grace to help you in those times. Your daily prayer should be that God gives you great grace for your spirit so that you can keep a great spirit as you serve him. Fourth, the church had great fear. Acts 5:11 says, "And great fear came upon all the church." A great fear of God caused the believers to live a holy life. Sin easily permitted in the life of a church or an individual loses the fear of God. A fear of God causes you to live a holy life. And what his power because of what his power can do to you or what it can do through you. if you don't obey him or if you do obey him. Fifth, the church had great unity. Now, Acts 5:12 says, and they were all with one accord. It's easier to reach the multitudes when the church is working together as one. You'll never have great unity in the local church without everyone laying aside their preferences for the sake of reaching the lost for Christ. Now, here's the key. You go back to Acts 4:33. And with great power gave the apostles witness. Now, notice, so they're witnessing. But that witnessing was preceded by prayer and had great power. And they had great grace. And that witnessing was because of great fear and the holiness. And they had great unity. And that's why that witnessing had an impact on all that they've done. Now, my friend, you need to have an aggressive soul winning church, and you need to be aggressive about going soul winning. But let me put it this way. Without all these things preceding your witness, your witnessing is going to be fruitless and vain. You've got to have all of these things put together. It's a package deal, my friend. All of it working together will cause multitudes to start coming. God always blesses a church, an individual who does these things, and he'll do something great through you and through your church. I hope this is a help to you today, my friend. Now, remember today, would you be good to everybody? Everybody's having a tough time. Have a great day, my friend.